Welcome, Marine Zone 6 Garden News Flash. It looks like some furry bandit has been eating my blooms. Not good. I usually don't have a problem with my blooms being eaten. In the East Garden, which is the front garden, take a look at this. Down yonder, past my limelight. Look at this Japanese Viburnum. It is gorgeous. Look at those blooms. Ooh la la. I pruned out the bottom last year. I usually do it every year in order to make it more like a tree-like form so my neighbor has more room for her car. But I haven't gotten to it this year. So you can see some growth down at the bottom coming in. Just beautiful. And this blooms on old wood. So you don't want to, or rather you should prune it right after it blooms. If you're going to prune it right after it blooms because it's going to set buds for the next year soon after. There are just a few tulips left. I deadheaded the other ones. And there are the Jazzberry Super Petunias I planted in between. I think they get around 2 feet wide. So hopefully they will cascade over the sidewalk somewhat and make a welcoming feel. They're also back here on either side of the steps. Look how pretty these are. Ooh. I put Jazzberry Super Petunia in my container as well. For repetition, I'm loving this white verbena. It's my first year with white verbena and I absolutely love it. And there's that diamond frost euphorbia back there and a calibrachoa. In the north garden, there are a lot of buds that look like they're forming on this new dawn. This is just one cane. I pruned back the other ones. And so, just one cane, but lots of buds are forming. So exciting. I have a little light leaves on it, which sometimes in my garden, this time of year, I have light leaves, but they usually darken up over time, so I'm not too worried about it. On the other side of the side door in the north garden, there's another new dawn. Rose Hall of Fame. Take note. Autumn Joy sedum on a stand my mother gave me. And look at that Alexander the Great Brunera, or Brunera as it's usually called, from my understanding. Just lovely. Heading back into the west garden, which is the back garden, we have down here Tiara Petunia, proven winners. Diamond Frost Euphorbia, and I think that's Blue Moon Punch Calibrachoa. I think it's a Super Bells. And what I did is that I put some ageratum in here because I looked it up. I think it might be a groundhog eating my flowers. So I looked it up and it says that ageratum, I think it was like the Cornell extension. And I think they said that ageratum is something that they do not like. So I popped some ageratum in there as well, kind of as a backup plan. Here is Silverberry Super Petunia and some lamium either from my yard or my mom's yard. My iceberg rose, also in the Rose Hall of Fame, take note, is doing well. There's that August moon hostas really filling out. That paniculata phlox, which is a electric fuchsia. Autumn Joy sedum, of course. Little quick fire. I put that in the end of last year. So exciting. And this Annabelle I just divided and put in. It's a little limp. I think they call it heat wilt. And it should bounce back once the sun gets off of it or it cools down some. That's what I'm thinking. I have Golden Globe Arborvitae in between the Conical Arborvitae. Another August moon hosta. Delaris Rose. It's really growing. So exciting. Lots of blooms on this clematis. Ville de Leon, I believe is the name. It's a beautiful, rich fuchsia when it blooms. And here's where the bloom bandit got my petunia. Little rascal. Another August moon hosta for repetition. Another little quick fire for repetition. And Annabelle and Autumn Joy sedum. Headed this way, my other container, which has Calibracoa in it, Super Bells, I believe, as well as, I think it's called Blue Moon Punch. Here's another one that the Bloom Bandit got. Yeah. And I put some ageratum in this container as well. Over to the left, the endless summers are leafing out slowly but surely. Hopefully we won't get a late frost and kill my buds. But if so, there should be some blooms eventually on the new growth that comes from the bottom. But I'll keep hope alive. There's the Otis Quickfire in my garden. There's still some daffodils here looking okay. Don't look too close. I planted Beacon and Patience down here. Love Beacon and Patience. They should get big and mound. There's that Sublime Smooth Hydrangea. That Variegated Hosta I planted not that long ago. And that Limelight Prime. Some peonies. Headed this way. That's a Snowdrift Super Petunia, which that white will echo the white over here from the Beacon and Patience. My hibiscus with some weeds around it. It should start to come up when the heat comes. They like the heat. There are some tulips I deadheaded. Little Quickfire. And over by this mirror I put up years ago, this New Dawn that I attached over here, I am just loving. It softens the corner of the garage. New Dawn is looking good. More Beacon and Patience I put in down there. Repetition. They should fill in and mound. And some top hat begonias. Tulips. I put a variegated hosta in here recently, next to my August moon hosta. There's the Boo Boo, Peony or Peonies, Midnight Salvia, Ageratum, Roseanne Geranium, I moved over there recently, Penstemon, that burgundy, which cuts the green. And yes, my mother gave me her Gatsby Star Oak Leaf Hydrangea. She didn't want it. Actually, I bought it 4 years ago as a gift. She didn't want it, so she gave it to me. Thank you. Some more top hat begonias and more Beacon and Patience. Another variegated hosta I put in, that green and white. Helps to add a little pop, that white variegation over here. There is, right there, Pinky Winky, Firelight Tidbit, really filling in. And look at the Gatsby Pink Oak Leaf Hydrangea. Gorgeous. Just gorgeous. On the way back to the hidden garden. Have a lot of hostas back here, including some in substance. There is that Bleeding Heart, Sublime Hydrangea. And back in the hidden garden, I planted some flowers this year. Beacon and Patience, fuchsia. To the right, to the left, to the right again, and to the left. That's why I planted those. Here is another Gatsby Pink Oak Leaf Hydrangea. Yes, lovely. A Limelight. And my anise hyssop is really getting big on either side there, which kind of creates an welcoming and almost like an entryway when it gets tall and big into the hidden garden. The new gem boxwoods at the back of the yard really seem to have grown. I guess it's all this dampness back here. And in this back flower bed, I added a green and white hosta as well for repetition. Repetition is important throughout the garden to give a sense of order. And some penstemon as well. I put in, what was it, the end of last year? Once again, repetition. And I think that gives like light purple blooms. There's some allium back here, a summon substance in this bed, Paul's Glory Hosta in back, Bobo's Quick Fires, and a firelight in the middle. These tulips are still looking lovely, just beautiful. And there are 3 quick-fire fabs behind. They kind of blend in with the bishop's weed. 1, 2, and 3 behind those daffodil stems. Headed east past those tulips. This Gatsby star I've had for years. I moved it like maybe three times before it finally was put in here, and it is just beautiful. So the one that my mom gave me may get this big. I'll see. There are the limelights, as well as sublime smooth hydrangeas. There are the pansies to the left that I put in not that long ago. And over here, by the table I built years ago, or on the table I built years ago, over by the faux shed I built years ago, I have put in some small hosta, as well as a big, I think it's big green and white leaf begonia. It gets huge. I had them last year. So they may look a little dinky now, but they'll fill in quite nicely inside of these containers. Over inside the faux shed, there are my August moon hostas. They're really starting to emerge and leaf out, as well as some spruce I put back here. Little evergreen interest. There is a Grandiflora, Queen Elizabeth, I put in back here. I thought it'd be nice to have a little surprise if someone comes back here unexpectedly and see a rose in the back corner, hopefully to do well. And I planted some hollyhocks down here. I'll see what happens. Correction, not hollyhocks. Chianti sunflowers. There's the little packet. That's what's planted here. Chianti hybrid sunflowers. I planted them last year. They're gorgeous. Some allium about to open up. I moved these allium over here not too long ago. There were too many over by the New Dawn, so I moved them over here. Crocus roses, David Austin. And I planted my ageratum from seed over here to kind of continue that bluish purple from the pansies over this away. So I have some ageratum I grew from seed here, as well as over here. You can kind of see it starting to bloom. How exciting. Backing up so you can get see my relative position. On the deck, I have my pansies and some lamium as a filler, which is a great filler, lamium. As well as, of course, my autumn joy sedum, which is really starting to leaf out. Just gorgeous. Here is a wave petunia. I try to deadhead regularly. They do really well when you deadhead them regularly. My mom got me that. And speaking of mom, she also treated me to this beauty. Another wave petunia. This is an easy wave, which I think the other one is as well. Once again, deadheading. And the goal is to get not just the bloom, but some of the stem as well. It should overflow. I'm standing just outside my back door. So this is basically the view I have looking out right now of my back door. When I sit in my chair, this is the basic view I see. Over in this container, I have silverberry supertunia, as well as lamium out of either my garden or my mom's. Down below, I have some pansies, as well as a rose that looks like it's breaking dormancy, slowly but surely. And some potato vine, lamium, and once again, green and white big begonia in these 2 containers, which should get huge. And of course, the potato vine should overflow. Headed this way. In this container, there's that hosta that comes back every year in a container. I have blue vein petunia here, as well as pink cashmere verbena, proven winners. And that gets huge. I had that last year as well, though not in this spot. Over in this container, Bordeaux supertunia, I believe it is. Diamond Frost Euphorbia, Snowdrift Super Petunia, and they should overflow. And in this container, I have a geranium, a blue-veined petunia, might be a super petunia, not sure, and a purple and white verbena. So there should be some overflow in this container as well. Thank you for watching.